Welcome to Daily Success. Listen in on these personal conversations with today's leaders, innovators, and influencers as they discuss daily success principles, systems, and solutions. Get ready for Daily Success. Now, here's your host.
Hi, this is Tammy Pantzer, and I'm really excited to introduce today's guest, Troy Fullwood. Troy is the author of Power of Paper, How to Create Wealth by Investing in Mortgages. Let me tell you a little bit more about Troy Fullwood. He is an expert in his field with more than 22 years of experience in the industry. Troy founded Pinnacle Investments in 1996. Under his expert guidance, Pinnacle Investments has grown to be the nation's leader in the purchase of first lien performing and non-performing real estate notes, completing more than 15,000 transactions since its inception. The professionals at Pinnacle Investments set the standard for high quality, strategic growth, and they pride themselves in their unique ability to help struggling individuals keep their homes. In 2007, Troy built Wall Street's first distressed asset fund, which he ran for 2 years before selling his interest to a Wall Street capital group. During his tenure, the fund earned a strong internal rate of return and helped thousands of people stay in their homes due to loan restructuring under Troy's guidance. Troy's recognized as one of the industry's top investment professionals, and he is often asked to speak at financial conferences and companies such as Harvard Business, Investor Wealth, NASDAQ, and Peak Potentials. He also contributes his ideas on real estate investing through numerous published articles and radio talk show interviews. He's received multiple awards throughout his career, being voted the 2015 Best Mortgage Investor USA by Wealth and Finance International and Best of the Best in Finance by Acquisition International in 2016. And when he's not working, Troy's active in his church and assists his community with financial issues. And I am lucky to call Troy Fullwood my friend. And another thing I know that he is a great dad. Welcome, Troy. And your daily success word of the day is thriving. Tell me more about your definition of thriving.
Well, thank you so much, Tamara, for having me here today. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. And thriving is, for me personally, my definition of thriving is enjoying your results and rewarding yourself as you make progress through business and life. Oftentimes, what I mean by that is that oftentimes we get into a situation where we're heads down, focused on the goal, building our business, raising a family, in traveling, doing all the things that we call life. And we never shift into the second part of that, and that's enjoying it and being grateful for what's happening. Now, thriving as a whole is something that becomes very passive and something that becomes that you see a result and you've got the aftermath of thrive. And that's exactly what I mean for it to do. Is in other words, okay, I've done this. Now I need to be proud of what I've done. Even if being proud is being your best captain, being your best coach, being your best cheerleader, being your best friend, because you did something. And I know that may sound a little different in most people's eyes, because oftentimes we say, well, I'll reward myself. I'll receive the benefits of my efforts after I complete and accomplish my goal. Well, some of the goals that we have in life are really big goals, and they take time to accomplish. So if you're waiting and your goal is like a 9-month goal, and you're waiting to 9 months to reward yourself, your chances of you making it that far is like slim to none. It really is. And psychologists have proved this. When you look at the Tony Robbins of the world and all these amazing speakers that are out there, they all talk about the same thing. Hey, pat yourself on the back, reward yourself, be grateful for everything that's here today that you've accomplished. And that's what I mean by thriving. In other words, enjoy life from a position of thriving. In other words, I'm grateful, like when I get out of bed today, every time I get out of bed, or before I get out of bed, I'm always grateful for the fact that I get to live another day. I'm here, I'm doing what I need to do, I'm putting my best foot forward as a father, I'm putting my best foot forward as a husband, I'm putting my best foot forward as a business owner, a business coach with my students and things of that nature. And so therefore, I'm grateful, but I'm living in that situation. In other words, I'm living like it's already happened. Even though my day's just started, I'm living my day as though it's going to be a phenomenal day. It's going to be an exciting day. So I'm living in the state of thriving all the time. So I'm attracting that type of energy to myself as though it's already happened. Oftentimes we look at, well, if I invest $100 over here, I'll be thriving when I make $101 or $102 or $105, whatever the reward or the return might be. But the point being is that you have to think about it from the position of it's already existing in order for it to come into play. If you live, well, if I invest 100 and if it doesn't happen, and it might happen, but if it doesn't happen, this could happen and that could happen. Well, there's 1,000 things that could potentially happen in any scenario. So why not live as though it's already existing? Why not live as though it's already happening? Because that's what attracts things. And I've learned this in life time and time and time again. Like the network of people that I have, and we've all heard the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, my network of people consists of individuals that are multi-billionaires. That's a lot of my network. I'm not a multi-billionaire, but I'm living and thinking and projecting as though I will be someday. I will accomplish that goal, and I will obtain that. But I'm thinking and surrounding myself in a very thriving environment, one that ultimately produces and brings those types of people around. Because, we've all been around somebody who is struggling and is, trying to figure it out, and they're trying to do this and they're trying to do that. And there's nothing wrong with taking some time to figure things out and to map out a success plan and to put together some ideas and to meet the right people. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That's just part of the process. But thinking about, okay, if I do this, I need to be in a state of thriving. I need to be in a state of existing as though it already exists, even if it doesn't. Because it's funny. I'll be in the car and I'll be driving down the road and I'll see my boys will be in the car and they're like a Lambo will go by or a Ferrari or something like, Dad, I want a Ferrari. I'm like, okay, that's great. What are you doing right now to achieve that goal or that position? And do you understand what goes into that? And so we'll talk about the state of mind that they have to be in order to achieve those things. Oftentimes we'll look at somebody, oh, they're just a silver spoon baby. They're a trust fund kid, and it's like, well, not everybody's a trust fund kid and not everybody's a silver spoon child. There's a huge percentage of our world that people are just good, honest, hardworking, smart, witty, intelligent, creative human beings that went out and made something amazing happen for themselves and for their family and for their friends and for their coworkers. And so they were in a thriving state of mind. In order to make that happen, they have to be in a position where they're already experiencing it happening in order for it to happen. And that's what I mean. Because oftentimes people say, well, I'll be happy when. Well, why not be happy now? Well, I'll be happy when I get the house of my dreams, when I get the car of my dreams, when I become healthy, or I accomplish this goal, or I'll accomplish that goal. And those are all wonderful accolades, and those are all wonderful benchmarks in life. But more importantly, why not just be happy now? Why not just be in a state of constant thriving, like thrive right now, like envision it, experience it, enjoy it. Even when you're getting punched in the face, which life will do sometimes. And I know that those things stink, but like a friend of mine is this massive YouTuber, and he does incredibly well. And every time I see him, he's in a constant state of thriving. And it's like, Jerry, how are you doing? My day is freaking awesome. And I'm just like, okay, what did you do today? He goes, I made a video. And I'm like, that's it? And he goes, that's it. And I'm like, okay. And he'll talk about the video he made and talk about uploading it to his YouTube channel. And he'll talk about all the hits and all the things that just happen naturally. And so he's constantly vibrating and enjoying life from this position of law of attraction, where he's just attracting all of this positive energy to himself. So he's in that constant positioning. And it's funny because if you talk to his wife, he's like, she'll bring up something that happened that's maybe considered negative, like, oh, one of our YouTube channels got shut off because of blah, blah, blah. And he's like, that doesn't matter. She goes, we lost $380,000 when that channel got shut off. He goes, big deal. I'll build another one. We're going to go do this. And so he jumps right over to not allowing that setback to set him back, which is what it's really designed to be. So oftentimes people look at that and go, well, I'm a failure, or this didn't work, or that didn't work, or YouTube stinks. They're the bad guys. They took my channel away, or whatever it is. Like, big deal. I'll go build another one. And as it is, he's got like 8 of them as it is. But point being is that he lives from a place of always being passionate and enjoying exactly what it is. And so what my point in sharing that with everybody is not to wait until everything's perfect to start enjoying your life. Live in a state of constant thrive/thriving, so that life can bring you the blessings and the joys and the relationships that you want, and the careers that you want, and the I hate using the word material, but the things that you aspire to acquire, I guess, at the end of the day, and let it bring those things to you. Otherwise, the cycle, we all know what the cycle is, and it's get a job, work for somebody, start your own company, come up with a cool idea, work 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. Hopefully you accomplish something 20 years down the road where you can sell the company for X amount of dollars, and then you'll go enjoy your life. I'm like, wow, that model stinks, because I've just spent all this time and I let all of these things go by me that I didn't get to enjoy. And I can't turn back the hands of time. I can't go backwards. And so I learned a couple years ago that living in a state of passion and success and thriving, and I call it thriving because it's living as though it's already happened, even when it hasn't. And I say that because I want to be really clear, because some people will listen to this podcast here, and some people will listen and they'll say, well, I don't have any investments. I don't have this, so I can't live that way. I'm like, no, you have to live that way in order to have it. And we get it kind of reversed, like, well, once I have it, then I'll be happy. No, be happy, then you'll have it at the end of the day. And so that goes with investing and everything else. People often ask you, like, how do you find these deals that you do? Like, where do you find these things at? I'm like, I have no idea. They just come to me. They really just literally come to me. And they're like, well, do you do marketing? Do you do this? What's your letters look like? What's this? I'm like, no, I don't do any of those things. I'm terrible at marketing when it comes to like internet marketing and things like that, compared to a lot of other people. And I don't say that to be negative. I say that to be just flat out honest. But more importantly, I focus on what I want to see happen. And I don't worry about all of the mechanics of getting there. I just know that, okay, here's where I want to be. This is my visualization. This is what I see down the road. This is what I'm going to keep my eye on the ball, looking this direction, and I'm going to accomplish that goal. Knowing that there's going to be some steps along the way that I haven't thought of, knowing that there's going to probably be, I'm going to trip a few times getting there, but more importantly, that's the goal. That's what I want to see. And I'm going to look at it from a position that it's already in existence, because it is. It's just, I have to go there versus it coming to me type of a thing. Like, so earlier this year, I decided I wanted to get healthy. I was tired of being overweight and lethargic and worn out and tired of having 4 boys. I need all the energy I can muster up at any given time. So I made this commitment on January 1st that enough was enough. And we live right across the street from one of the most amazing health facilities, workout facilities, and neighborhood community gyms in the Phoenix area. And we've been a member of it. We've been a member since last June. And so I showed up there on January 3rd and said, okay, what do you guys got going? Like, well, we have this program called The Greatest Loser. And I'm like, the name stinks, but okay, I need to do this. And so I jumped on board, and the trainer, who's this petite little 26-year-old pink-haired girl, a young lady, looks at me and she's like, what do you want to accomplish? I said, I need to lose weight. She goes, okay, what does that look like? And I said, well, I need to lose this stomach. And she's like, great, quit eating the garbage food you're eating and show up every day and do cardio. And I'm like, okay. And so she worked with me and showed me some things to do so I wouldn't hurt myself. But the point being is that I had this vision of it already happening way before it happened. And so within 60, what do we do? January through, about 70 days time frame, I lost 30 pounds in 70 days. And it was all about having this visualization that it was going to be in existence. I was going to will it into existence. I was going to live as though it already happened and not wait for it to happen. Because in society, we have this thing backwards. We're like, well, I'll be happy when I find the right relationship. I'll be happy when I lose weight. I'll be happy when my kids listen to me. I'll be happy when I close the big deal. I'll be happy when my company hits this number. I'll be happy when my neighbor's dog stops barking in the middle of the night type thing. We have all of these rules to our happiness. And I'm like, well, why don't we just live as though it already exists so that it does exist then? Because I found that when I do those things, and it's a mental thing, like losing the weight, it was a mental thing. I'm 52 years old. I've probably been overweight, in some form or another, probably for the last 20 years. And it's been a burr in my saddle. And I've had multiple gym memberships that have fallen by the wayside, to say the least. They've gotten worn out in my wallet type thing. And so I got to a point where I said, okay, enough is enough. I need to live as though this is already happening. I need to live as though this is existing and know that it's there and that I need to just put in the energy and the effort, but I can have fun doing it. I can enjoy it. My life can be happy. Here were the things that happened when I started doing that. I started losing weight. My wife took all of the processed food out of our house January 1st. I mean, she warned the boys at Christmas time. She's like, enjoy the Christmas candy because it's going away tomorrow. And they thought she was just kidding. Little did they know, they woke up the next morning and all of the Christmas candy stuff was gone. Sweets and treats were out the door. And so were the other things in the pantry. So all of those things went away. And because I did that, things started changing. But it all started with a mental state of mind as though it already existed for me. It already was there. Even though my pants were still tight in the beginning, my shirts were tight in the beginning, it was going there. And then within literally like 3 days of going to the gym, things just, I started knowing change. I started seeing changes and feeling changes and looking at things differently and eating things differently. I started eating much healthier. And that my body used the food in a completely different way to start burning off the fat and things like that I was the extra weight that I was carrying. And life just got better and more energy. I started having more energy and clothes fit different. And I made new friends. I became more connected with the neighborhood and things like that. So there were all these things that happened. And had I not have seen it and lived as though it was already there, I would have still been doing the same thing I've been doing for 20 years. Well, I'll get to the gym when I have time. I'll get to the gym tomorrow. I'll get to the gym this weekend when I've got this. And I just said, no, this is what we're doing. This is what's happening. And it's had a ripple effect because my wife even has, since the beginning of the year, she's lost 30 pounds. My boys don't eat all the junk food anymore. They love the fruits and vegetables and stuff that we have around the house. So it shifted the entire family versus living in a position of wanting it. I didn't go from a place of want. I came from a place of already having it. So living as though it already existed. So that's my overall definition of thriving from that position. Now that's a combination of thrive/thriving, but the thriving is the past tense as though it already exists. So to live as though it already exists. And oftentimes people will live in the moment where the work is going on and they get stuck there. They never shift. They never go from first gear to second gear. They never go from walking to running. They never, get to live that part. And I say that because being that I've got a lot of friends on Wall Street, one of the things that's a characteristic of living or working on Wall Street in the financial district and stuff is that you work a lot of hours. Now, you're guaranteed a pretty nice lifestyle, don't get me wrong, in those big firms and corporations. But the challenge with it is that they just wear themselves out. And their idea of good times is usually going and having a beer and a shot in a bar somewhere in the local area. And that's not it's powerful. I mean, that's just, it's okay to socialize. Don't get me wrong. There's okay to have a beer, drink, whatever. But more importantly, they just wear themselves out. So they never gain any value. I mean, they get to the end, and I've had a lot of friends that burn out on Wall Street and they go out on their own, and that's okay. I noticed last week when I was back there, you got a friend. That's awesome. But I noticed last week when I was back there that there's this new generation. There's this new energy. There's this new, what do I call it, behavior. There's new culture that's developing in these major corporations and company. They don't want to burn people out anymore. The old days of doing what they used to do are no longer, one, acceptable, and two, talked about, or three, encouraged. You have a bunch of young guns that are in great shape and that work out in the morning before they get to work, and then they're working like literally just basic 8-hour days, like normal people, and which is good because the longevity of that person as an employee is powerful. So my point being is that thriving is all about visualization. It's all about seeing it that it's already existing before it exists, and therefore you're already shifting from the act of doing it to already having it and enjoying it versus getting stuck in the act of doing it on a regular basis. So hopefully that's makes sense. I know it's kind of hard to explain, but
it really does make sense. And when you think about it, for daily success, thriving, what you explained is that you have to act as if you already have it. And I think that's really important. Was there a point in your life when this all clicked for you? Because a lot of people, they live their lives wanting to do exactly what you're talking about, but they don't know how. And like you said, you're living your life in gratitude as if you've already had the wonderful day. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, they seem to not be able to make that transition. Was there a moment in time where something clicked for you so that you really got this about how to be thriving instead of trying to be, I'll be happy when?
Yeah, for me, it was working with people. And in our industry, in the mortgage investing industry, it deals a lot with numbers. So it tends to attract a lot of analytical people and accountants and things like that. And I noticed that the culture in the industry was really kind of mundane and just kind of heavy and drab. And people always wanted to talk about this return and that return and this and that. And all of those things are an important part of building out a fund. But what I realized about it was if there wasn't some level of visualization that went into it, nobody was going to accomplish those returns. Nobody was going to accomplish the goal. And so what I started doing is I started limiting the number of heavily analytical people around me, not because they don't have value, but because their energy is completely different. You don't typically see a lot of joyful, gleeful, happy accountants. Okay, they kind of have the old school visualization, and they tend to be very internal and very focused. And there's a great skill set, and they have an amazing gift to do those things, and they're valuable. But that's just a portion of the world. That wasn't the whole world. And so as I looked around, I started seeing people that were successful already. They weren't worried about these numbers and all of these other things, although they knew that they were part of any business. They were looking at, how do we build the brand? How do we build the business? How do we visualize? How do we carry out the vision? And so I started watching people. I started looking at very, very successful people who have these amazing visions of how they want their brand or their company or a project to be developed over time. And I started just seeing how much happier they were in that state of creativity, in that state of visualization, that state of forward thinking. And they didn't discount the supporting staff and the people around them. What they ultimately did is they embraced them and showed them a different way of looking at things, which gave that group of people a whole nother a boost of energy. So if there was like a time, I would say the time was probably really probably about 5 years ago when I started looking at the choices I was making and where I was going and the struggles that I was in and the things that it felt like I was pushing a rope up a hill. And I sat down with a very successful businessman, and he came into the restaurant as we sat down, and he was very happy. And I said, "How's your day going?" He goes, "Well, we just lost a deal and it cost us $180 million. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." But he was happy. He goes, "But I'm not worried about it because we've got another deal that we're going to pick up." I'm like, "Oh, really? Tell me about your other deal." And he goes, "Oh, it's not here yet." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, when do you expect it to show up? When do you expect the deal to show up?" He goes, "It'll be here soon." And it was like, okay. And he didn't even worry about what he had just lost or what fell apart or what kind of went away. He already knew. He was already focused on what was going to happen down the road. And he looked at it as being like a double blessing in life. This one was taken away. There's a bigger one coming. So I'm going to look at it from a double blessing perspective. And learning that really shifted everything that I did, because you know this, you're a business owner, I'm a business owner, you work with business owners, I work with business owners. And oftentimes, we'll have a tendency to get caught up in what we lost versus what we, one, already have, and two, what's down the road for us, based on having an attitude of gratitude, just being grateful of all of the things. And so I created this little saying for myself, and it goes like this. Dear Lord, give me this deal if it's for my highest good. If not, give me its equivalent or something better. And that's a little prayer that I pray over things. And that way it allows, if it's for my highest good in how I can help more people and do more things, then I want to be a part of it. If it's going to drag me down, bog me down, cause me headaches, heartaches, problems, issues, then I don't want anything to do with it. And oftentimes that's why we lose things, because those deals that we think are great, or those clients that we think are great, or those partnerships that we think are great, they find a way of going away, and we sit there and we're brokenhearted about it, versus being joyful about the fact that we now have space in our life, an opportunity in our life to create something new in our life. And I'm not about throwing people away. That's not what I mean by that. But sometimes people come and they go, and they're in our lives for short periods of time to teach us things that we need to learn, and we teach them things that they need to learn. And that's not about arguing or fighting. It's just who we are and the gifts and the treasures that we have. So it was that's what it boiled down to. That was a light bulb moment for me, having lunch that day and looking at him going, wow, he can be happy losing this deal that would be life-changing in anybody's world. And even in his world, it would be life-changing. But and if he can do it, then I can do it. Because my challenges were not as big as his challenges. And my deals were not as big as his deal. And so I can definitely do the same thing that he's doing. And ever since then, yeah, we've had things that didn't work out, but they worked out for the better. Something went away and it created openness in our business, or a deal fell apart, and all of a sudden we had more time to focus on another deal, or another relationship, or another lead, or another opportunity, and that's how we look at things. Even in our education business, like, here's a great one. This is a great one. So in our education business, when we do education trainings, we do webinars and we'll sell education about investing in notes. And every once in a while, it's not often, but every once in a while, a person will come back and they'll ask for a refund. And usually their answers or the reasons why are very logical, and they're very down to earth. I've had people come back and they bought the course and the training, and a week later their mother's in the hospital. So their focus has shifted to family, and I understand that completely. We don't fight over the issue. It's like, no problem. Let us refund you your money immediately. And we don't worry about what we lost. We lost that sale. We lost that deal. But we maintain the relationship. We maintain what we call goodwill in their eyes. And inevitably, every single time without fail, that course, that training that we're probably not even marketing at that point anymore. It's been kind of closed off, and we're on to something else. We'll get at least 2, sometimes 3 sales that'll come in just out of the blue. So we'll lose 1, but we'll gain 2 or 3 within 24 to 48 hours every time. And so that's what I mean by living in a state of thriving. Most people would look at, oh man, I had to do a refund today. That stunk. And our trainings are anywhere from $1,000 up to $20,000. So they're not cheap trainings, but we don't let those things stop us. And so that's my encouragement for people. If there's any nuggets that you got out of this is awesome. That's fantastic. But a positive state of mind, living in a state of thriving all the time, even when things may not look as though you want them to look, will only living in that constant state of thriving is what brings about the things that you want at the end of the day. So that's what I have to share, I guess.
Well, this is what I can say about thriving, and Troy Fullwood and the daily success for the day is just awesome. Wow. I learned so much, and I think you just said it, golden nuggets of how a successful person lives their lives and how they can maintain success. So
Yeah.
I think you've really taught us some valuable lessons. And of course, you do have the book, Power of Paper, How to Create Wealth by Investing in Mortgages. And so that's a whole nother topic that I'll have to invite you back
Yeah, I'd love to.
one of my other shows. But we could always do a daily success word of the day, paper or power, because I know the power of paper, and you actually you have a trademark on that also. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we do have a trademark on that.
Yeah. And again, that's a whole nother avenue of information. But just in terms of daily success, what you've shared with us is so powerful. And the fact that, you have that shift. You literally had lunch with someone and they represented. I think that's what I learned the most from you today, is how you're a living example of thriving. So somebody could look at you and say, oh, if I emulate some of these ideas of what it means to be thriving from Troy, it's like, wow, just think if I just have that attitude shift about how my life is, and about if I lose something bigger and better is coming. I mean, I just learned, so much from you, Troy, and I really appreciate that. So, Troy, if somebody wants to connect with you, how can they do that?
Well, they can go to our website. It's pinnacle-investments.com. So it's pinnacle-investments.com.
Okay.
And you can go there, and we actually have you can opt into our newsletter. There's a free ebook that you can download that comes to you when you opt in as well. Some tools and resources about learning about paper and investing in notes and mortgages to create double-digit returns on your investments. You can also call our office at 480-831-5067. That's our office number, and I'm at the trade desk most of the time, so you can hit that line. And if we don't have a pickup, it's because we're in the middle of another call, but we'll certainly return your call as soon as possible. Or you can email me as well, and you can go to troy@pinnacle-investments.com. Shoot me an email, and understand that it's got a spam arrest blocker on it. I just put that caveat on there, so you just have to click the link and it'll come right through. But if I don't respond to an email within a day or so, know that I probably didn't get it, and just give me a call and let me know, and we'll get it worked out. But I love working with people and showing people how to build their wealth, and the models that we use. We're very open about it. So.
Yeah, I have talked with you before, so you just have some phenomenal background in helping people. So everyone, this has been Troy Fullwood, and he is with Pinnacle-investments.com. Reach out to him and learn more. And in the show notes, I'll also include a link to another interview I did with Troy previously, so that you can learn more about the other side of him. But thriving, daily success word of the day. Thank you so much, Troy.
You're welcome, Tamara. Thank you so much for having me. You have a wonderful day.
You too. This is Tamara Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
You've been listening to Daily Success. Tune in again and subscribe. Never miss a moment of daily success.